Hello and welcome to an Everyday Canines video. We're looking in this series at the Kennel Club Good Citizen Dog Scheme, and this is the puppy level. So we're looking at today at exercise 3, which is attentiveness to name. What that means is that your puppy knows its name and will respond to its name. It's not as formal as a recall. It's different to that. It's just we want to see a reaction to the name when you ask for it. So we've got Magpie up here. Magpie says, I know my name and I know sausage. This is a game you want to start playing if you can. You might even be able to get your breeder to start helping you with this by calling your dog the name if you've picked a name for them before you even collect them. But what we want to see is when the dog is looking away from us, so I'm going to have to prime Magpie to do that. If I say her name, she'll look back at me. So she's responding to that name. It's an understanding of name. It's an understanding that when I say your name, you look at me and something good will come. Okay, ready? I'm going to distract her. Okay, ready? Search. Magpie! Good girl. So if I send her out looking for a treat, good girl. Ready? Search. Magpie! And I say her name before she actually is looking at me, she is going to turn her head and look to me. And of course, if there were more distractions here, the same would apply. Magpie actually has a few names she'll respond to. She'll respond to Magpie, Pie, Mags. So when you're starting to teach this, how would you go about it? Well, first of all, I'd be down on the ground with my puppy. I wouldn't be standing up. Imagine Magpie is a brand new 8-week-old puppy. I've literally had her in the house maybe a day, maybe a few hours. She doesn't know her name. What am I going to do to get her to respond to me? Well, we're going to wait initially to have some sort of eye contact. With Magpie, that's pretty easy. So let's help her out. I'm going to ask her to go out, search, search, search. Seriously? You have a nose and you couldn't find that. You were right on top of it. There. And now I'm going to wait for her to be looking at me, and I'm going to say her name. Magpie. Good girl, and give her a sausage. And I say her name in an enthusiastic, high-pitched way because that makes it more interesting. So I can do that again. Obviously, you've got a puppy. You would wait for that puppy to look at you. And most puppies will eventually look at you. If you're having trouble and the puppy is really disinterested or worried, you could try something such as you could squeak a toy. You could tap your hand on the floor. You could make a silly noise like you could go pop, 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 or something like that. Any little noise. And then when they look at you, you're going to reward them for looking at you and say their name. So they associate that word, which is their name, because they don't know it's their name. They associate that word with looking to you. Okay, should we try that again? So I'm going to send her away. Go search. Wait till she's looking at me. Magpie! Good girl. And reward for that. Now it becomes quite quick, certainly depending on the dog, but it becomes quite quick and natural for them to want to respond to you and look at you. You can see she comes straight back in because she's got this game. Search. Magpie. Good girl. And that's all you need to do. You just need to keep saying that name, and when your dog is looking at you, you reward them. Now, we don't want to be saying the name when the dog is not looking at us until we are reasonably confident the dog will respond to it. Because what happens is we have the people look and the dog's looking away like this, they're looking away, it's busy over there, and they start saying the name. The dog doesn't respond. So they repeat the name, and they repeat the name, and they repeat the name, and maybe eventually the dog does look at them. All you're achieving is you're teaching your dog to ignore the name. We need them to respond on the first use of that name. We don't want them to respond on the 10th. Pointless. And it becomes naggy because, when you're saying Magpie, 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 it's just this white noise and you're not achieving what you need to do. So we want an instant response. Right, let's see if I can send you away. Go search. Magpie! Good girl. So if you start to try and ask for a name when your dog is looking away from you and they don't respond, don't just repeat the name. Say we're not ready yet. Carry on with the earlier stage of the game, then build up to that. Because we don't want to ruin that word by repeating it pointlessly. It's the same difference with anything. You shouldn't have to keep repeating your commands. If you've taught them correctly, the dog should respond the first time. And we're not getting angry about it if the dog doesn't respond to it. It just means we haven't completely taught them what we need to teach them yet, and so it's our responsibility to help them out. So that is attentiveness to name. Isn't that cool, Magpie? Isn't that such a fun game? She said, that's a really fun game because I get loads of sausage. I hope you've enjoyed this Everyday Canines video, and if you have, you might like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon.